So I went to take a sip of coffee and I realized that my cup was empty. So I went upstairs, went to pour another cup of coffee, needed some creamer, went to the fridge, realized I was out of creamer. So I went down to the freezer in the basement and grabbed a jug of creamer, brought it up, threw it in the sink to let it thaw, and I had to go with just milk and sugar in my coffee. But that's okay, I don't mind that. I used to drink it that way a lot before I discovered the vanilla creamer. And I realized as I was getting my cup of coffee and looking out the window that the squirrel feeder and the bird feeder needed to be filled because it's cold out and they needed some food. So I went and grabbed the bin full of seeds and shit and I went out there and filled them up and I put the seeds away and realized the garbage was full. And garbage is my duty, so I went and grabbed a new garbage bag, pulled out the old one and sprayed the inside of that garbage can with some disinfectant so it didn't stink so much. Put a new bag in there, took the garbage, put it outside so I could take it down to the pole barn where the big garbage bin is later. When I was out there, I realized that it had snowed about 1.5 inches or so overnight, so I went and grabbed the shovel in my coat and I shoveled that up. Only took a few minutes, it wasn't much, but it keeps us from tracking so much snow in the house. And then I went back in. As I was hanging my coat up, Bella, our calico, came and got rubbing against my legs, so I went and sat on the sofa and rubbed her for a while, gave her some attention, and she liked that. And then I realized I hadn't poured my cup of coffee, so I went in and poured my cup of coffee with milk and sugar. As I was walking down to the basement, I stepped in dog shit. We have an old dog who has a hard time with that stuff, so I went and grabbed some toilet paper to clean up the dog shit and took my sock off and got a new sock because there was shit all over my sock and that really sucked. But when you have pets, it just happens, you get it, you know. So I went downstairs to get a clean pair of socks from the laundry room because I had left them in the basket down there. Got some socks on and realized that I had not folded or emptied the dryer when it finished the last load. I went and got some hangers and hung up a bunch of shirts, and as I was hanging up the shirts, I realized that my shirt, my favorite shirt, had a hole in it. I've got this awesome shirt, has 3 mice on it, says 42, and if you've ever read Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, you'd understand what that is. And my favorite shirt had a hole on it, and that kind of annoyed me, but I didn't think too much of it. And then I looked in the laundry basket, and I realized that there was holes going through all those shirts, and there was a bunch of mouse shit in there, and a bunch of seeds from the plant, or the feeders that I put outside. The mice apparently get into those seeds and make nests in my laundry that I forgot in the basement. And so I went and got some of that, those mouse traps, the poison ones. And we don't use them much because we don't want the animals to get in them because we got 2 dogs and 3 cats and it could be dangerous. So I made sure to put it in a place that nobody but a mouse could get to it. And then I hung up the shirts and I went upstairs and realized that I hadn't even had a sip of my coffee yet. So I took a sip of coffee and went back downstairs. Started planning on making some music. I turned all the gear on and I was ready to go. And as I was sitting there, I saw there was a notification on Facebook with like 3 different little red things. So I had to go check that out and see if anybody had said anything about the last music I posted because I really crave feedback and that's just my thing. And I want people to notice me, that kind of thing, you know. And I realized when I was on there that they were all bullshit from people that I didn't give a fuck about, that I don't even know, you know, like what the fuck. So I went and I unfollowed all those things that were sending me messages that weren't even people. And when I sat down at the keyboard, I realized that I'd left my coffee upstairs. So I went upstairs and I got my coffee and I came down and I made a weird song thing where I was just talking and it got kind of convoluted and bizarre and a little awkward, but that's okay because that's what I was doing today.